morning everyone, or good afternoon or good evening, depending on what time of the day you're watching this video. So today I have a nice balancing flow to offer you. We're focusing firstly on balancing, and also at the same time we're focusing on using the breath to help us in our balancing postures, and also to just help us in our movement. So we're going to start nice and grounded today for the beginning of the practice, doing some balancing movements lower to the ground, and we're going to gradually work our way up into downward dog, and we'll finish the practice in some standing balancing postures. So we'll get nice and warm first. And the thing that I want us to focus on today, and I want you to try and focus on, is one, creating some balance in the breath. So trying to match the inhale and the exhale. So if you're taking an inhale for 2 counts, so inhale 1, 2, that you then exhale 1, 2. So that the inhale and the exhale are nice and balanced. It can be, you can pick how many counts you want to match the inhale and the exhale for. So I tend to change mine throughout my practice. So when I'm doing some slower movements or some stretches, or I'm holding a downward dog, and I have the breath capacity, I like to hold it for sort of 4 counts in and 4 counts out, 4 counts in and 4 counts out. But sometimes when things are a little bit faster paced in my practice, I just have an inhale of 1 and exhale 1. So you can change your breath throughout the practice, but what I'll do is I'll try and say throughout the practice, come back to the breath. And every time I say that, it can help us all bring our attention back to keeping those equal inhales and exhales. Also in terms of balancing, as well as balancing the breath and being in balancing postures, it's also really nice to balance the effort and the ease. So making sure that while some of these positions and these movements are quite difficult, quite challenging, that we make sure we're flowing through them in an easy way. So we're just reaching our edge, that we're challenging ourselves, but that we're always maintaining the breath. Because if we lose the breath and we just focus on pushing through the movement, and we're shaking and we're restricting our breath, then we're going to create this kind of idea of stress in our bodies, and the nervous system's going to feel scared. And it's going to start working for us, and that's not really what we want. We want to be exercising in a way that's good for us, and not a way that's just causing us to push through. So that's why the breath is so important. It's not just another thing to throw at you to have to try and think of, but it really is a good way of keeping us balanced. And when we bring our focus to our breath, we bring our focus to our movement, and we know what feels good and what's better for us. And we also become more aware of what we're doing, and we're not just exercising for the point of it, but we're actually thinking about our bodies and thinking, oh, this feels great, or this hurts too much, I need to stop, maybe I can speed up a bit, okay, I need to slow it down. So that's why the breath is so important. So there's a lot to think about there, but more or less just think about keeping your inhales and exhales equal, and focusing on what you're doing, and breathing, and listening to your body, and listening to what you need and what feels good. So we're going to jump right in. Have a drink near you if you want to. I think it's always a good idea to have some water, and we're going to start in a tabletop position. So before we get into our movement, just finding those equal inhales and exhales. So I'm going to start with an inhale of 3 through the nose, And an exhale of 3 out the mouth. And just finding that breath. An equal inhale and exhale. And knowing that we can change the breath to support us at any time. So starting with some cat-cows. On our next inhale, we're going to drop the belly towards the earth. The head's going to lift, the chest is going to push as if it was pushing out between those two arms, and the gaze rises up. And on our exhale, we push down into the ground through the palms, and we curl into the back. So pushing up into your spine, pushing away from the ground. Inhale, opposite way, the belly drops down to the earth, your head lifts towards the sky, and we get a nice curve in the opposite direction. Exhale, push away, curving through the spine, pushing up into the shoulder blades as much as you can. Inhale, drop the belly down. Ears away from the shoulders, so you're not hunching in, but that you're lengthening every part of your body. Exhale, curl through the spine. Inhale, drop the belly. Inhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. 2 more times. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And coming back into a neutral position, so the spine's nice and neutral, straight line from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Pushing down in the arms, making sure they're stacked underneath the shoulders, and the knees are stacked underneath your hips. On an inhale, you're going to lift your left leg off of the ground, straight out behind you. And at the same time, or when you feel like you've got a nice grounded, you're nice and grounded in the hands, you're going to lift the right arm out straight in front of you. So opposite arm to leg, a nice straight line from the fingertips all the way down to the feet. And you're just going to hold it here. Making sure you're not leaning into one side more than the other. Stretching through the fingertips and at the same time pushing through the heel and keeping that lifted leg straight. Pushing down into the left palm. One more deep inhale. Exhale, lower the arm and leg back down to tabletop position. Take a little bit of pressure off the wrist if you need to. Rolling out the left wrist. And coming back into tabletop position. This time, lifting the right leg to hover off the ground. Whoop, my table was right in the way. So make sure mine might not be perfectly in line, but make sure that back leg, the lifted leg is, let me move forward a little bit, there we go, is a straight line with the spine. And when you're ready, push down with the right hand into the ground, pushing the left knee to get yourself in a nice balance, and lift the left arm off of the ground. I have to bend mine a little bit because I have a wall there. But if you reach your left arm right out in front of you, so straight out in front, and the right leg, opposite leg, stretching out behind you. Don't drop down in the belly, make sure you're pulling up in the spine, and the right arm is straight. reaching out with those fingertips, warming up the whole body. No part of the body should be relaxed, including the mind. And take one more inhale and exhale, release. Roll out the right hand again. Oh, it's just started raining here, it's really cosy. I love the rain, makes me feel like I can do nothing. I'm joking. Alright. So we're going to go back into that tabletop position. I'm going to come back into tiger pose. So lifting again the left leg off of the ground and the opposite arm, so the right arm. And we're going to inhale, and on an exhale we're going to move the right arm and the left leg out to opposite sides. So the right arm is now bent and the left leg is bent in like a fire hydrant position, like a dog taking a wee wee. And then we're going to stretch it back out. So the arm and leg that are lifted move from 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock to 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Okay? We're going to do 5 of those. So inhaling, exhale, coming into that fire hydrant. Inhale, stretch it out. Exhale, whoo, fire hydrant, push down through the left hand. Exhale, whoo. Inhale, exhale, fire hydrant. Inhale, straighten the arm and leg out. Exhale, fire hydrant. Inhale, exhale, bend. Last time, inhale. Exhale, hold it here. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. Good. Sit back on the toes. Take a couple of wrist circles if you need to. Phew. Alright, take a sip of water. I'm going to have some tea. Nice cold tea. Alright. Moving back into tabletop. Ready to go on the other side. So this time lifting the right leg and the left arm. Once we have our balance. So push down into that right arm. So the ground is supporting you. And push down in that right knee as well. And the front of that left foot. Sorry, the left knee and the left foot. Reaching out. Inhale. Stay there. Exhale. Bend the left arm and right leg coming into that fire hydrant. Inhale, straight. Exhale. Bend the arm and the leg. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do one more. Inhale. Exhale. Bend and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Push back into a child's pose. Head can come down to the earth. And arms can come round to rest beside the feet, just to take a little bit of pressure off of the wrists. And that should feel good. Taking a moment here to come back to that breath. Finding your equal inhale and exhale. And on your next inhale, coming back to tabletop position. Just going to take the strap off. Hopefully you see me a little bit clearer. So, our next position. So we're going to come into a hovering tabletop. So we're going to inhale, tuck our toes under, nice and grounded through the palms and through the balls of the feet and the toes. And on an exhale, we're going to hover. So the knees are just a couple of, maybe 2-3 inches off the floor. Pressing down into the ground and up into the shoulder blades. And holding it here. One more breath, inhale. Keep holding, don't lower the feet yet, exhale. On our next inhale, the right knee is going to touch the right elbow and back. Left knee touches the left elbow and back. Right knee, back, left knee, back. Still hovering the whole time. Back, left knee, back. Keep hovering. Whew. Back, you feel it in your core and your arms more than anything. Keep breathing. Right, back, left, back. Twice more. Right, back, left, back, right, back, left, back. Drop the knees. Whew. Come back into a child's pose. Let your arms rest again beside your feet and find your breath. Find your equal inhales and exhales. So the breath is always there to come back to. No matter what goes on in our lives, we can always find our breath. It never leaves. Sometimes it feels like it does, but it's always there. To remind us that we're alive and that we're doing good. Alright. Coming back up. Now this time, we're going to come forward into a plank. So it's up to you what plank you find more comfortable. You can come into a plank with your arms straight and your palms, your fingertips and your palms planted. Or I like to come onto a forearm plank. I think this makes it a little bit more difficult, but actually makes it more comfortable in my arms. So, interlocking the fingers and coming into a forearm plank. And then curling the toes under and coming up into that plank position. We're going to hold it here for a minute, find our breath, find that equal inhale and exhale. And on our next inhale, we're going to tap the right toes out to the right, just coming off of the mat. So we're going to inhale, bring them back, exhale. Left foot, inhale, exhale. Right foot off the mat, back together. Off the mat, back together. So switching between the right and the left leg. Trying to keep your bum down in line with your spine, not lifting it up. Okay? Keep going. Tap right, tap left, tap right, tap left. 5 more on each side. Keep going. 4. Tap left. 3. Tap left. 2. Tap. Last one. Drop the knees. And slowly push back into child's pose. Coming back up. Taking all of the weight out of the arms. Maybe do some circles with your wrists. And then allowing the breath to become your focus again. So roll it out your wrists. And then when you're ready, coming forward, into a plank. We're not going to hold this for long, don't worry. So coming up into a high plank this time, breathing in and exhaling, pushing back into a downward dog. So bring your feet in if that's more comfortable. Working to get those heels as close to the ground as possible. Your heels may be still a fair distance from the floor at the moment. That's alright, we're just working to get them closer and closer. Pushing into the hands, dropping the head down and making sure our ears aren't tucked up close by our shoulders, but that our shoulders are stretched away from the ears so that we have lots of space in the shoulders and the back body, stretching the hamstrings, stretching the arms, whole body working at the same time. Okay. And on our next inhale, we're going to lift. Actually, maybe bring your downward dog a little bit closer. So make it a little bit smaller. So just step the hands in slightly closer. Step the feet in slightly closer to the hands. And this is going to make the next position not incredibly difficult. So working on our balance again here. We're going to lift our right arm off of the ground. And to do this, we're going to press down firmly into the left palm and fingers, and also into both of the feet. Now your feet, you might be on the balls of your feet, and that's fine. Just making sure those 3 points of contact are really pressing down. And we're going to lift the right arm off of the ground. Okay, if this feels too easy, then maybe you need to make your downward dog a little bit wider, so you can bring the feet further away. But wherever you are, adjusting it so that you're feeling it, but it's not impossible. Holding it here for 2 more breaths. Inhale, exhale, push down in the left arm, inhale, exhale, release the right arm. If you want to take a child's pose to take the pressure off, you can come into a child's pose just for a moment, or you can stay in downward dog if you want to keep your body fully activated. So downward dog is a resting posture in yoga, believe it or not. But that doesn't mean nothing's working. It just means you're not flowing through anything, you're just focusing on your breath. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So grounding down into your right palm this time, and into both of your feet. You're going to lift the left arm off of the ground. Remembering to breathe deep inhales and exhales. Let the head drop, keeping the shoulder away from the ear again, pushing. The more you push, the easier it's going to be to find your balance. Try to keep central, so you're not dropping all of your weight into the right side of your body. But keeping centered. 2 more inhales. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Release. Whew. Again, option to take a child's pose, or you can stay in a downward dog to keep it a little bit more active. In fact, it's probably a good idea if we all take some weight off of our wrists, as we're going to go back into some more balancing positions that are going to strengthen our arms. So taking a little bit of weight, take some shoulder rolls backwards and forwards. Shake the arms out. They've definitely worked really hard. Alright. The hands are becoming tired, the arms are becoming tired. Just take a break in child's pose, come into this position. And remember, you can join back in when you've caught back up with your breath and when you've rested your arms a little bit. It's best to let yourself rest when you need to and then be able to exert a bit more energy in the next bit than to overdo it. So rest when you need to. Okay. Arms coming back out in front. Whew. And feet curling under, toes curling under, sorry. And lifting back into downward dog. Alright. On an inhale, lift the right leg towards the sky. So ground down into the left foot and into both palms equally. Make sure you're not putting all of your weight into the left side of your body, but that you're maintaining balance and equal pressure in both palms. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, bend at the knee of that right leg and start to open up that hip. So taking the stretch from the hamstring into the hip as we open up into that right leg and bend through the right knee. So we're working our whole body. Arms might be tired, should be tired. Whew. Nice stretch through that leg. And then coming back, placing that right foot back down. And on an inhale, the left leg sweeps up towards the sky. Holding it here first, keeping the hips square. Pressing down into the right foot and making sure we're balanced. So equal amounts of pressure in both hands and the foot. On our next inhale, we're going to start to bend in the left leg and open up into the hip, but trying to maintain equal weight in both arms. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, straighten the left leg. Exhale, bring it back down to join the other foot. Drop the knees. Come back. Whew, weight off of the fingers. Nice. So for this next little ditty, I'm going to give you two options. And the first option will be the slightly more difficult one. The second option is just if for anyone whose arms are hurting, it gives you the opportunity to just rest them a little bit, but still getting a nice workout in your core and still practicing your balancing. So, inhale, and when you're ready, finding your downward dog once more. Okay. So, inhale, right leg sweeps back up, coming back to that three-legged dog. On an exhale, watch me faith this first time. We're going to start shifting forward, coming up onto the ball of the left foot, and the right leg comes into that fire hydrant again, and the knee kisses the elbow, and then we push back and the weight comes back into the foot. Okay? That's your first option. If this is too much, we're going to take 5 of these on each side. You can come down onto the knees, and you can do this at any point if it becomes too much. And you're going to take a fire hydrant out to the side and then in. Don't rest the knee on the floor. Keep it lifted, and you're going to come up, hold, I'm going to do the downward dog version, just for those who are taking that one. But if you prefer, you can take that grounded position with a fire hydrant. So right leg, inhale, lifting it back up into three-legged dog. One more inhale, and on exhale, we're going to move into the fire hydrant. Inhale. Exhale, shifting forward. Right leg kisses right elbow. Push back. Inhale. Exhale. Knee to elbow. Inhale. Exhale. 3. Inhale. 2 more. Exhale. Whew. Knee to elbow. Inhale. Push it back. Exhale. Knee to elbow. Exhale. Push it back. Inhale. Stretch the right leg. Exhale. Down to the ground. We're going to go straight into the other side. So drop down if you need to, or stay up in three-legged dog. Left leg sweeps up towards the sky. Inhale. Exhale, shifting forward. Left leg to kiss left knee this time. Inhale, push it back. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. Inhale. Twice more. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale. Last time. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale. Stretch left leg up. And exhale. Drop it down. Downward dog. Or child's pose. Whew. Whichever one feels better. Coming back to the breath. Your equal inhale and exhale. Okay, last little bit on our hands, and then we're going to shift into the standing position where we can rest our arms and focus more on our legs. Okay. So inhale when you're ready. Come back into a downward dog. So, we're going to inhale all together. Inhale. As you exhale, shift again onto the balls of the toes and coming forward into a high plank. Okay? So shoulders stacked over your hands, heels pushing towards the back wall. We're going to slowly start to shift the weight into the left hand. Okay? And as you do that, you're going to turn the body so that the outside of your left foot comes to the mat and is supporting you. Your right leg can come in front to ground you, and we stretch the right arm up towards the ceiling. And we have this nice foot stand in our right leg to help support us in this position. Otherwise, if you want to take the full side plank, we roll onto the side of that foot, the right foot stacks on top of the left, and we roll up, right arm stretches up towards the sky. Okay, whoop, and we fall. No, we don't fall. Okay, we're going to hold it here for 5 breaths. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale.
remember, you can change it and put the leg out here if you need the support at any time. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Right arm comes down. We come back into a high plank. Knees can drop down. And we'll walk the hands back to meet the knees. Whew. We'll hold it here for a second. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Come back into a downward dog. Last bit on our hands, other side. So we're going to inhale all together. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, begin to roll onto the toes, rolling forward into a high plank. When we're ready, start to shift the weight into the right arm. And we're going to come onto the outside of the right foot. Again, we can put that left leg in a support in front of us and then lift up with the left fingers towards the sky, or if we prefer, we can roll onto the outside of the right foot, stack the left leg on top, and then pushing down into the ground, stretch up into that side plank with our left arm. So you take whichever variation feels more comfortable for you. We're going to hold it here for 4 more breaths. Pushing into the ground, lifting those hips to help keep the body upwards. 3 more breaths. 2 more breaths. Final breath. And release, left arm to the ground, high plank, and drop the knees. Pull the hands back towards the legs. Breathe. Circle the wrists. Take a drink if you need to. Have some cold tea. Yummy. And crawling the arms back out. We'll take 1 more downward dog. Breathe in here. Last downward dog of the day. Breathe in. Exhale. Hands come in and feet start to walk in, and the hands meet the feet in the centre of the mat. Take a bend in the knees and roll up gently through the spine, stacking one vertebrae after another. Being nice and gentle. And rising up to standing. So, we're going to move into a little flow now. A nice balance and flow. And again, take breaks when you need to. If this feels a little bit too much, we're going to be working a lot more now in the legs than in the arms. So the arms can have a breather. We can focus on balancing in the legs. Okay? So, we're going to breathe in. And as we inhale, we're going to push down and ground into the left foot. And the right leg is going to lift to a right angle. And we're going to clasp our hands around the knee and just help lift that knee in towards the chest. So you're grounding down into the left foot, and at the same time you're lifting up through the spine and squeezing that right knee in towards the chest. So go just to test your balance for a moment. Okay. Take another inhale here. Exhale, let the foot come back down. Inhale, now ground down through the right foot and let the left leg lift off the ground. Clasp the left knee this time with both fingers. And pulling the left knee in towards the chest as much as we can. And grounding down into your right leg. Nice deep inhales and exhales. One more inhale, straight through the spine. Exhale, let the leg go back down. You're going to inhale again, shift the weight into the left leg, let the right knee lift up into that right angle. Okay. This time, hands are going to release and come up overhead. And we're going to breathe in, and on an exhale, the right leg is going to start to kick out behind us. The body shifts forward. We can keep a micro bend in the left leg, so the supporting leg, and we come into a warrior 3 position. Now, bending that standing leg is really important. The back leg doesn't need to be high, just parallel with the ground. And arms can be out in front or in prayer position. Probably best to keep them in prayer position. We're going to inhale, come back to standing. So we're not dropping that foot down yet. Exhale. We're going to do that 4 more times. So inhale, stretch arms overhead. Exhale, kick back with the right leg into warrior 3. Arms come to chest. If you wobble, it's all good. Just come back as soon as you can into the posture. Okay? Inhale, exhale, back into that one leg in standing position. Inhale, arms reach overhead. Exhale, kick back. Inhale, exhale, back to standing, arms reach overhead. Inhale, exhale, kick back into warrior 3. If you're wobbling, if you fall, it's all good. Just come back to it. It's a practice. Inhale, exhale, I'm wobbly too. Coming back, arms sweep up overhead. Inhale. Last time, exhale, kick the leg back, coming into warrior 3. Inhale, exhale, coming back to stand. Reach up on an inhale last time, exhale, release. Shake it out. Feels good. Okay. Same thing again, but on the other side. I'm going to switch this way just so you can see what I'm doing. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. Cool. So this time grounding down in the right leg, and the left leg will be kicking back. So inhale, ground through the right leg, shift the weight into the right side, and let the left leg come up into a right angle. Release the hands, keeping the leg there, arms sweep overhead. We inhale, and as we exhale, we kick back into the warrior 3 position again. I need to shift forward on my hand. There we go. Keeping a micro bend in that right leg. It's really important that we don't straighten it and put all the pressure into the joint. So keeping a bend in that leg. Inhale, exhale. Whoop. See, it's all good. It's all good. Sometimes we fall. But we rise again. Together. We'll never stand alone. Sorry. Right, hands up overhead. Whew. breathe it in. 4 more times, kick it out. Breathe it in. Back to standing. Keeping that leg off of the ground. Left leg off the ground. Inhale. Exhale. Kick back with the left leg. Warrior 3. Inhale, squeeze. Exhale. Back to standing. Twice more. Inhale, stretch arms. Exhale, kick it back. Bend in the right leg. Left leg straight out behind you. Inhale. Exhale. Back to standing. Arms reach up overhead. Inhale. Exhale, last time. Kick back. Warrior 3. Inhale, squeeze everything up. Nice long spine. Exhale. Whew. Come back to standing. Reach the arms up overhead. Last inhale. Exhale. Release. Let everything go. Shake out the legs. Give the hamstrings and the glutes a little rub if you need to. Take a nice sip of water. And come in, feet together. You can center yourself in the middle of your mat, or you can be at the top of your mat, whatever's easiest. I'm going to center myself directly in the middle, just so you can see me clearly and see what I'm doing. So, our final balancing posture today, or our final standing balancing posture, we're going to come into tree pose. And this is one of those poses that looks incredibly easy, but isn't. So go easy on yourself and remember to focus, okay? It's also, a lot of it's in your mind. So we're going to start by grounding down again, just like we did in the last posture, grounding down into the left leg and lifting this right leg off the floor. Now you have 3 different placements. You can place it on the ankle, so the right leg, the sole of the foot can come and rest on the left ankle. If this feels a little bit easy, like you'd like a bit more of a stretch in the hip, a bit more of an opening, you can bring it up so that the heel rests just under the knee. Now you don't want to be resting on the knee and pushing into the knee. You want to make sure the heel is just under the knee. Okay? And then we're going to stretch this leg out so that we get a nice opening in this hip as we balance at the same time. Third option is we can bring the heel up so that it's right by the crutch, right at the top of the leg, the highest point of the leg, so that the heel's pushing into that left leg. And in order to maintain your balance, there's 3 things to think of. First thing is pushing down into the ground. So that as you're pushing, you're lengthening up through the spine, and you can imagine you're growing an inch as you do it. So you're grounding down into that foot and growing up tall in the spine at the same time. Second thing you want to be doing is pushing your heel into the standing leg, and that way you're going to create some tension, but at the same time, third thing, you want to push back with the standing leg. Okay, so you're creating an opposition, at the same time you're pulling up, so everything's coming in towards the center, and it's creating this nice long line so that you're solid, you're like a tree, and the hip might not be this straight, your leg might be slightly closed in. If you want to feel it more in the hip, start to open it up. Again, you might be here. You might be here. Okay, so wherever you are, pushing the heel and the sole of the feet into the standing leg, pushing back with that standing leg to really feel the opening in the hip, and at the same time grounding down into the foot and elongating through the spine to create this tree. We're going to hold it here for a few breaths. Now arms can be wherever is comfortable. Could be at the heart centre, if that's most comfortable for you. And try and grab a point of focus out in front of you. So find something in the distance. It might be that there's just a lovely wall really close by. Sometimes that actually makes it harder. But find a spot on that wall if you can, or out somewhere in the room in front of you. Just find a nice spot and focus on it. And come back to those equal inhales and exhales. The arms might want to come out to the side. Take a nice mudra. They might want to come up overhead. Whoop. They might want to come to the shoulders. They might want to do a little dance out by the side. Just keep breathing. Keep focusing. Remember those points of contact, creating a little bit of tension so that it's comfortable. Okay? Take one more breath, maybe reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, whew. Slowly bend in that left leg and drop the right leg back down. Whew. Just to stretch out a little bit in that glute, we're going to bring that right leg, so same leg, up, cross it over, so just the foot is on the outside of the left leg. Okay, so we're resting the ankle against the left leg. And we're going to come down into kind of a squat and get a nice, really deep stretch in the right hip and in the glute. If it's easier, you can fold over and try and touch your fingertips down to the ground. Okay? Maybe you've only got a micro bend in that left leg, but make sure you keep a micro bend. And you might have palms flat on the ground, you might be able to let the head drop down. That might be way too much, and you might just be able to reach the ground. Or you might be here trying to hold your balance. We're going to take one more breath wherever you are. Deep inhale. Exhale, challenge to lift all the way up. Whoop. And then release. Shaking out your right leg. Feels good. And coming back. Feet together. Ready to tree it up on the other side. So remember all of those points that we run through. So grounding into the earth. Pushing down through the whole sole of the foot and the toes and the heel, elongating through the spine, and opposing forces in the legs. And that should keep the tension, a nice tension, a comfortable tension, so that you can hold that pose. It's also going to create a nice opening in the hips, and it's really going to strengthen your standing leg. So bringing that left leg up now into either the ankle, just below the knee, so the heel is just below the knee, or all the way up, and you can assist yourself a little bit here, and place that foot, whoop, and then once you feel comfortable and grounded, then you can, so push, I'm really pushing in this foot, yep, push, that's what's holding it together, it's like glue, it's like they've glued themselves together, and that's what's holding me there. I'm not doing any work, my legs are just pushing in. And at the same time, my right foot's grounding down and my spine is nice and long. Okay, we're going to hold it here again. You should be getting a nice deep opening in your hip at the same time. And you find the more you push and you get these opposing forces, the more you open up in the hips. It's a really good stretch. Okay, if you fall out of it, that's absolutely fine. Just come back into it. And we're going to take 5 breaths here. Hands again, wherever feels comfortable. Can be frustrating sometimes finding the balance in these postures that we're not used to. But, whoop, see, it's not easy. hands can find a mudra, come out either side, have a little sway, as if you were a tree. And even though the wind is blowing against your leaves, you're strong, you're sturdy. It's a nice representation for life and how strong we are as humans. The wind being the ever-changing events and chaos and experiences of our life. And we're the tree that stays rooted and grounded and that remains through all of the seasons. All the seasons of life. Taking one more breath. Maybe lifting the arms up overhead now. Exhale, bend in the right knee and come back. Releasing that foot. Ooh. You might feel it in your thighs, might be nice to give your quad a little massage quickly. Oh, that's good. And shake your legs out. And coming back into that stretch. So grounding again in that right foot and allowing that left foot to come over so the ankle is resting on the right thigh and the foot is just on the outside. And we're going to squat down, so we're working this leg still but also stretching out the left hip. Coming down, if we want to hold it here for a little bit of strength training, all good. Or we can bring it forward and try and touch the fingertips towards the ground in front of us, making sure we don't straighten and lock out in the right leg, because that hurts the joint, and that joint is very important. You don't want to lock it out, or you want to let it in. No, we want to keep it nice and strong and healthy and happy. And we can release the head as well. If that feels comfortable, maybe lay the palms flat, keeping that bend. One more breath. Maybe you rise up and let it go. Exhale. Inhale, challenge. Whoop. Roll up, keep in that position. Come all the way up to standing. And release, left leg down. Whew. Got a stretch. Feels good. We did it. We balanced. So taking a nice inhale, deep inhale. Arms are going to lift up, out to the sides. Up overhead, fingertips to touch. Let the gaze look at the fingers. And we're going to come down into a forward fold. Maybe heel toe those feet to hip distance apart. Take a little sway, bend in the knees again. Stretching through the back. And then if it feels good, starting to bend and straighten, not bend, the opposite to bend. Straighten your legs so that we can get a stretch in our hamstrings. And you can release some of that tension that may have built up from those challenging balancing postures. I'll just turn to face the side so you can see me a little bit better. So you may have your knees bent, still hanging over in a forward fold, or you may have started to straighten the knees to bring the stretch into the hamstrings and into the back of the legs. And you're just going to hold it here, maybe sway a little bit side to side, finding whatever feels good, being creative, or not, or just not even thinking, just enjoying. And we're going to take halfway lift, straighten through the spine, release back into a forward fold with bent knees, and then push up, keeping the knees bent, rolling up through the spine, back to standing. Coming back to the centre of the mat. arms are going to come into prayer position. We're going to breathe in, and on an exhale, we're going to start to bend at the knees and lower the bum towards the earth. And then we're going to come onto the balls of our feet at the same time, so that we're coming down into a crouching position, so that the bottom is resting on the heels. So the balls of our feet are like this, okay? And coming into a toe stand. This is our last balancing posture. And then we're done. So holding it here. We're going to reach on an inhale, both arms out in front. Hold it here. Inhale again. Exhale, right arm stretches back, left arm reaches forward. Holding it in the toe stand. Inhale, right arm comes back. Exhale, left arm stretches back. Inhale, comes back. Again, right arm stretches back. Inhale, back in front. Exhale, left arm stretches back. Exhale, stretches forward. One more time, right arm stretches back. Right arm stretches forward. Left arm stretches back. Left arm stretches forward. Hands come down, and we slowly sit back onto the bottom, using our hands to help us. And we're just going to come into a seated position. So coming into this seat, with your left foot in front of your right foot. And we're just going to take one last stretch, just to stretch out the hips, as they're nice and warm. So breathing in and straightening through the spine. And as we exhale, we're going to slowly bend at the hips and come forward. So we might be able to get our forearms on the ground in front of us, or we might just be stretching out in front like this. That's all good. Just making sure we can feel a stretch in the left hip and the right hip, but in one hip you'll feel it more. And I believe it should be the left hip. There we go. So wherever it feels comfortable, taking a deep inhale and a deep exhale, and maybe coming onto the forearms, letting the head drop down. Maybe if you have the flexibility in your hips, coming all the way down, forehead to kiss the earth. And allowing those arms to stretch out in front. And wherever you are, we're going to be here for 3 more breaths. So just finding somewhere where you can be still and really breathe into the hips. Breathing in. And out. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Coming back up to that seated position, straight spine. And just switching the feet so your right foot is in front. Taking an inhale and straightening through the spine. Exhale, creeping forward again until you find a stretch in your right hip this time. So you might be here, you might be here. And your knees also might be nowhere near the ground, you might be more like this, that's totally normal. And just stretch the forward. Maybe coming onto the forearms, just finding a stretch that's comfortable enough that you can breathe there for 3 full breath cycles. Okay? Maybe coming down, head to touch the whatever's. Two more deep breaths. then back up gently through the spine to come to standing. To come to seated, not standing. That would be very passive. So breathing in, lifting the arms up above the head. On an exhale, bringing the arms back down to the heart centre. And now just closing the eyes for 2 minutes. Taking a moment to breathe and be with ourselves before we carry on with the rest of our day. If we're doing this in the morning, maybe we're doing it in the evening. In which case, before we unwind or maybe go to sleep or have our dinner, just taking a moment to be grateful for the work that our body has just done. And coming back to this idea of balance. Balance in our movement, balance in our breath, balance with effort and ease. And this really comes back, relates back to our lives. And finding the balance in the being and the doing. So often, in our culture today, we just do, and we're all about the doing. It's always about what we're doing, what we should be doing, what we're going to do next, what it would be like if we were doing something else. It's all about the doing and a lot less about the being. And ultimately, we are human beings, not human doings. And it's great to do. It's great to have moments and days where we're doing, where we've got focused projects and plans and ideas. But it's really important to balance it out with the being. And knowing that it's okay to just be who you are. Be with who you are right now. Be accepting of who you are. And to just be, just to exist. Nothing else, just existing. And knowing that if you just existed for the rest of your life, and you never done any more doing, you never done anything else, then that would still be okay. If you could just be with yourself and be present in every moment, but never really do anything again, I'll be alright. Of course, in our arts, we all know we have the capacity to do things, do good for ourselves and do good for others, and make positive changes, work hard, help others, influence others. So it's good to have a little bit of doing, but way more important to be, in my opinion. And when we are doing, to be in the doing. What I mean by that is to be present. Present in our studies, present at work, present with our loved ones, present when we're alone with ourselves, present when we're eating, present in our emotions. Just finding that balance always between the doing and the being, the active and the rest, the giving and the receiving,
the exertion and the stillness. The calm and the chaos. The sleeping and the living. The hard work and the effortless ease. The focused tasks and the spontaneous free choices, free movement. I thank you for practicing with me today. I hope that you can bring a sense of balance into the rest of your day and the rest of your week, and hopefully onwards from there. And that you come back to this practice at any time you need to breathe and balance. And that you honour the part of you that is perfect just as it is, just being as it is, without doing anything, becoming anything, just as you were born, as you are in every moment, the true essence of who you are. And I leave you with a very short meditation that you can repeat, come back to at any time, maybe say to yourself in the morning or before bed. Be the person I already am. Be them, be them, be them. Be the person you already are. Be them, be them, be them. Be the people we already are. Be them, be them. And I raise my palms to my third eye. And as I see myself for who I am, I see yourselves for who you are too. And I honour you. Namaste.